The next episode of The Commercial Break starts now.
Oh, yeah, cats and kittens, welcome back to The Commercial Break. I'm Bryan Green. This is my dear friend and the co-host of this show, Kristen Joy Hoadley. Best to you, Chris.
Best to you, Bryan.
Best to you out there in the podcast universe. Hope you're doing well. Smack dab in the middle of holiday season. I hope you're revving down, de-stressing, having fun. I personally rev up because a lot of old ladies are out there on the road. A lot of old ladies and old men, especially in my part of town, are out there driving maliciously, slowly, in front of me, and it drives me fucking batty.
It does.
Take it.
I've been in the car with
take
you.
it. I hate the Christmas season excuse me, let me repeat that. I love the Christmas season, but I dislike being on the roads during the Christmas season because it seems like every nudnik who got their fucking license on the back of a cereal box is out there driving around trying to find gifts for their great-grandson. And they get in front of me and I go crazy. Either that or it's the soccer dad who thinks he's the police officer of the neighborhood, so he's going to drive exactly 33 miles per hour in a 35 zone to make you slow down, young man. Fuck you! I got places to go and 75 children. And then I seem to be living in the land of Tesla trucks up here, and it's driving me bananas.
Oh, I know.
I can't take it. There are so many Tesla trucks where I live. So many Tesla trucks. And they all of them seem to be driving like assholes. Why are you driving a Tesla truck in the middle of north suburbs in Atlanta? There's no good reason. Never ever has a tool been in the back of that truck and never will be. Why are you driving it? What? What are we doing? You're driving a refrigerator around my town. Stop it. Is there an ice maker in that thing? I don't know. Okay, listen, I get it. Some people think it's a cool car and it has nothing to do with politics and they don't care about Elon Musk. They just think it's a cool car. Okay, God bless you. I'm not saying you shouldn't ever own a Tesla truck because Elon Musk or politics or whatever. But honestly, can you drive like a fucking human being? Take it off auto drive or whatever is going on, because those Tesla trucks, anytime I get behind one, to the side of one, or in the front of one, someone is always driving rather erratically in those things. And I think it's because they can't see, because there's no right angles in the car. It's perpendicular angles everywhere. 50 feet off the ground. There are 75 different window shades and colorings and angles. How do you see out of that thing? I guess it's got magic cameras that keeps it on the road or something. Whatever. Just stop it. Stop it. I think all the grandmothers and grandpas, all the Tesla trucks, and all the soccer dads who want to be police officers, they should all just have their own neighborhood where they can drive around and piss each other off and see who can drive the slowest or furthest outside of the lane. I mean, I swear to God. I was driving down the street the other day, and out of one of these blind drives comes this Tesla truck, and it's just going 70 miles per hour outside its own driveway. And I came within 12 feet, 15 feet of getting in a terrible accident. He did not stop. He did not look. There was no brakes applied.
It's like a tank.
It is a tank.
Barreling down the road.
Yes, it's a tank. But I have a suspicion it's not really a tank. Like if you were to get in a car accident, it would probably crumple more like styrofoam because it just looks. I just don't like the look of it. Listen, I know a lot of people it's mixed reviews, right? Some people are like, it's just not utilitarian. It's for people who want to drive a car that looks like that, right? I don't like the look of them. There's Tesla cars that I love the look of. Mm-hmm. Like those Tesla, the coupes and the sedans or whatever you fucking call. I don't know the car terms, the regular cars. I think they're beautiful cars. And
I do too, and they're great inside, too.
Yes, I've looked at them. We thought about buying one. But that truck does make no sense to me. It makes none sense to me. It looks terrible. It literally looks like Elon Musk, I don't know, had sex with a refrigerator. I mean, that's all. I don't know. It just looks weird. It
does.
Yes. And
I
all
agree.
The dads up here that are driving these things around, running people off the road, it's just like, come on, guys. Get a regular truck that you don't put tools in. Be like the rest of the idiots and get a regular truck that you don't put tools in. Does that thing even have a place for tools? I don't know. I guess the pop tops up or whatever. I've watched videos on it. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about tin cans and Elon Musk and and driving a can of pinto beans around town.
Well, I think we might be. Is this a Festivus episode? Because you just aired your grievances.
Oh, I did.
So that's
yes,
part of
maybe
the
it's
Festivus.
Yes. Nothing like turning on the commercial break in the middle of the holidays to hear Bryan whine and complain about white people problems. Only an old white man can complain about other old white men in a way that makes no sense whatsoever. All right. Okay. I'm done. But here's what I do have to say about driving, because, you spend a lot more time, I think, in your car during the holiday season, getting to and fro, going shopping, just generally, taking the kids to activities and all this if you have kids. But so I'm relying.
Parties, grocery stores.
That's it. Yeah. All this stuff. And there tends to be more traffic because more people are out on the road more often doing whatever it is they do for the holidays. Whatever the fuck grandmas do. Who let grandma out of the house, by the way, honestly?
It's hard to take away those keys, I'll tell you that.
It is, and
it's
I don't
really
know.
hard.
I live in this part of town where, it's a mixed bag. There's guys like me who are very angry, running, banging their heads against the steering wheel.
Angry
driving as fast as they possibly can to wherever they're going. There's, people, like I said, there's dads and moms who believe they are police officers, so they drive 2 miles per hour under the speed limit to slow you down or everybody else behind you. I don't get it. When you're driving, and I know, like, if not everybody feels comfortable driving. Some people get scared of driving, or they want to be really cautious, as they should be, because you're driving essentially a murder weapon around, right? But when you're driving down a 2-lane street, 1 lane each way, when you're driving down a 2-lane street, and you're going 7 miles per hour under the speed limit, and there is a line of 40 cars behind you, all of which are just like driving so close to each other because everyone wants to literally drive over the person in front of you.
Yeah.
Like, don't you ever just like look back and go, oh, I'm causing a bit of a traffic jam back there. I guess I should put the pedal up just a little bit. Do you ever? I mean, I don't
wonder. I don't think they're thinking that. I think they
no.
I think
they're
in their own world.
They're nudniks that just are.
There's also a lot of people from out of town,
safety first,
coming through, and whatever, visiting.
I'll give you a little bit of a break if you've got a out-of-state license plate. I'll give you a little bit of a break. We have a roundabout here, and roundabouts in Florida pretty common. Roundabouts in Georgia not as common, but they're there.
They're becoming more
and more because they are fantastic traffic diffusers.
Yes.
It's much better than a light if it's the right setup, right? If you're in a major intersection, then a light then it doesn't make a lot of sense. But in Europe, they have traffic circles almost very rarely do you see
There's
an actual
Big Ben,
traffic
folks.
light.
Kids.
Big Ben.
There it is
Parliament.
again.
Big Ben. Parliament.
He gets stuck in the roundabout.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, when we were in France in the Arc de Triomphe, that is like a notoriously dangerous, very complicated roundabout. Even the cab drivers get nervous about it. They'll tell you they're nervous about it. And so when we went there and I rented a car, we drove all over Europe. We drove from Barcelona to Paris. This is a number of years ago. And my brothers were behind me in another car. And I will tell you something. For the 7-hour drive from wherever we were in France to Paris, all I could think about was that we were going to have, our hotel was near the Arc. I was going to have to go on that roundabout. For 7 hours, I strategized about how I was going to do this because I had been there, before, and I knew that even the taxi drivers take it easy. Like they very calculated about how they get in that traffic circle. There are 7 lanes and everyone is moving every different way. Yeah, you have to.
That's crazy.
The only good news is the traffic's only moving in one direction, or should be. Yeah. But bikes, so many scooters, cars, taxi drivers, it doesn't. In a blinker in that situation it doesn't matter because people are just going to move over anyway. Like it's all so confusing.
Wow, that is confusing.
And the people who are like in the very last lane near the Arc, right? What are they doing all the way over there? I guess they're just taking a tour around the Arc a bunch of times. I don't know. Take a look at a picture of it. It's intimidating. And but I got through it, and we did it a number of times, and we got through it. But I'm telling you, anyway. There's a traffic circle up here with 1 lane. That's it.
Yes,
1 circle. That's all you got to do. Yield to the person that's coming. Like if you pull up to a traffic circle, you look to your left. Here in the United States, you look to your left and you say, is there anyone coming? Am I calculating that I have enough distance to make it, not bother anybody else or cause anybody else to stop short? Okay, great, go.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
it. Not really that hard, right? Not all that hard. And I understand if it's your first traffic circle ever, maybe you take a few extra seconds to get your bearings and understand what's going on. If you're a cautious driver, maybe you make sure there's a lot of space in between it. But I go in that traffic circle every fucking day, sometimes multiple times a day. And sometimes the out-of-state drivers, I give them a little bit of extra time because I'm like, okay, this might be your first traffic circle ever. I got to be aware of that, right? But if you have a license plate from the same town that I live in, and I know that you live, like I can literally know you live on my street, and you sit there and just wait and wait and wait. You wait till the entire traffic circle is clear. There's no one there and has been no one there for a minute and a half before you go. You are officially a dumbass. You gotta go.
Yeah.
And then there's 3,000 cars behind you. Oh my God, Christy drives me crazy. And you know what? I should let that shit go. I honestly should. I'm a grown man. I shouldn't get all worked up about this. And I'm so much better than I used. This is so much better than I used to be, by the way. This now is so much better than I used to be. And I'm not going to get into, I'm not road rage incidents. That's not for me. Like I don't, hit people, get out of my car, yell at people. I don't do that. I secretly stew inside of my head.
Let it out here.
Let it all boil up until the next episode. Commercial break. That's what I do. You're right. You're so right about that. But, we're all here spending so much more time in our car because of this. I said to myself, well, I better get acclimated to a couple channels on Sirius that I like, that I can chew on, right? And so there's the old go-tos. There's the news stations, BBC World, MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, if you really want to drive yourself crazy. And then there's the music stations, Christmas, all of the rock and pop and all that other stuff. So I'm listening to whatever station I'm listening to on Sirius, which is wonderful, by the way. I love Sirius. I think they're lovely. Odyssey's better, but I love Sirius. They're great. As a satellite radio company, I will tell you that I heard the most disturbing thing I think I've heard all season yet, and that is that Smokey Robinson has his own Christmas channel. Smokey Robinson, guys.
Oh, okay.
I want to remind you. Yeah, well, Christmas hits? I
Probably.
guess probably.
He's been around long enough.
He was in Motown. I bet they put out a Christmas album in 4th of July. They put out 2 Christmas albums a year, I think, that Motown.
Yes.
They were just hit makers, like hit after hit after hit after hit. They would put, and I think the part of the formula was keep putting music out all the time, never stop.
A constant traffic circle.
A traffic circle,
That's moving.
Yes. It's the Arc de Triomphe. 7 lanes, always cars in there. But do I need to remind you of the crime that Smokey Robinson laid on us earlier this year when he dropped an album?
Oh, that's right.
And I just want to play a little bit of it for the audience that may not have picked this up. Smokey Robinson earlier this year dropped an album, and that album is so fucking disturbing that it's almost criminal to play it on air, but I'm going to play a little bit of it, and because I can't play too much of it, because I'm sure Smokey and his gang are going to come after us. Smokey and the gang. Smokey and the Four Tops, or whatever it is, are going to come after us.
His gang.
Okay, all right. Ready? Listen to this.
I'm ready.
Okay. Oh yeah, the smooth sounds of Smokey Robinson's Christmas channel on Sirius. You'll hear hits like Gasms. The worst part is this is actually a good groove.
It is.
I know. Here it comes. Ready? Oh no, that's not it. It's coming. Nothing like a French horn to get things settled in. You know what I'm saying, Chris?
I mean, I can get into the music part of it.
I guess when I look at you, it makes me feel better than good.
When I look at you, it makes me feel better than
What I
good.
see is you and me together forever.
Ooh.
I'm knocking on wood.
Wait, he's knocking on what? Wood?
Every kind of
Gasm, gasm, gasm.
Here it comes.
each eye has 'em. Every time I take a look, you give me gasm.
Hi, Gasms.
I Gasms.
You're the one responsible for my gasm. Gasm, gasm.
In the background, background singers coming in.
Can you imagine?
Gasms.
Hey, Tina, it's Tony the manager.
Hi, Tony.
Listen, you're not gonna believe this. I just got you booked on an amazing album. You're gonna be a backup singer for Smokey Robinson. Smokey, I've always wanted to work with Smokey. What's he doing? I'm gonna send over the lyrics. Just be mindful. Smokey's in his old age and, he may not be well. Oh, okay. Gasms. You booked me on what? Gasms. You say orgasm? No, just gasms. No or, just gasms. We're going to gasms. Basically, I'm paying you to repeat the word gasms over and over again in tune. This is the highlight of my career. Gasms.
Gasms.
You give me gasm.
Gasms.
Yeah.
Smokey Robinson put out an album earlier this year with many songs that the lyrics are questionable. But I think we can all just agree that just hearing gasms pretty much sets the tone for the rest of the album. There are other songs that are just as strange lyrically. I swear to God there are. I listened to a number of them in my own free time, as not to bother you. But I'm telling you right now, take my word for it. This is weird. And Smokey Robinson is a fucking legend. Don't get me wrong. Love Smokey.
Yes, he is.
I grew up on Smokey Robinson. I'd never forget that hi-fi that my grandfather and grandmother had in their house in Melrose Park, Illinois, an extraordinarily Italian neighborhood, which meant that there was a lot of gangsters around. But there was some flavor in the neighborhood, right? There was a lot of, in that Italian culture, there was a lot of people who were very much into Motown, and that was the sound of the streets for some folks. And so my grandfather and grandmother, they really picked up on that. And so they had some of the best albums on that hi-fi. And when I say hi-fi, I mean a cabinet that was 6 feet long, 3.5 feet tall, made of pure wood that had 2 speakers embedded into a decorative wood paneling, right? And then you would pop open, it just looked like a cabinet. And then you would pop it open, and there was that beautiful record player. And then it had storage for the records or the 8-tracks. It also had an 8-track, and it was fancy. This thing was newfangled. That was the technology of the day.
Yeah.
And Smokey Robinson was... There were multiple Smokey Robinson albums, multiple Motown. I mean,
had to be.
My grandfather and grandmother gave me a gift, and that is the taste of really good music early on in life. Now, I don't know what happened. They all went to shit when I got in 33 Penis. But I will say this, that Smokey Robinson was the sound of a lot of Christmases and a lot of holiday, get-togethers and festive events and stuff like that, because my grandmother and grandfather would lay it down. I mean, they would just lay it down. It was incredible.
That's fun.
But I don't know who is managing Smokey Robinson right now. And I'm not saying that maybe Smokey decided to do this on his own. Maybe it has nothing to do with his management. But what in the good fuck were they thinking when they laid down gasms?
I don't know.
Gasms. It just sounds disturbing. It just the word sounds disturbing. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, baby, you want me to give you a gasm? No, I don't. Leave your penis. Put your penis away. What did you just say to me? I said gasm, 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 baby. I gasms, my gasms, your gasms, orgasms. I think I just threw up a little bit in my mouth, Bryan. I think I just threw up a little bit in my mouth, Bryan. Please put that penis away. I don't know what that is. It's gross. I don't even know what that means in English, but I know in Spanish it means mierda. Shit.
Was that Astrid?
That was Astrid. Of course it was, yes. Astrid, my love of my life. Bryan! It's time to go down to the retirement center again. You're getting a little crazy.
That's right.
Let's go get your calcium checked, honey. Come on with me. No gasms for you today or tomorrow. Oh, I've been having gasms with the pool boy. Don't you worry about it. I've got plenty of gasms.
I'm all full up.
So anyway, I'm not to dissuade you from listening to us on the Odyssey app. I want to make sure I'm playing it even here. But SiriusXM, if you want to check out Smokey Robinson's new Christmas channel, maybe they'll drop in a Gasm here and there. You never know.
They have to.
Of course they do. Yeah, that's probably the deal. Well, first of all, good for Smokey because you're getting bank when you have your own Sirius channel. I would imagine. How much you think they get? They pay somebody for the licensing right?
I don't even know. What's the going rate?
Well, I would think 20,000 a week. 25,000 a week, like something like that, $100,000 a month ish, maybe $1 million a year, $1.2 million a year for someone like Smokey Robinson. There's lots of people who have their own channel. Billy Joel, Green Day, Pearl Jam, Fish, Grateful Dead. They all have, and I would imagine it's a licensing deal. But then they at least on some of those channels, giving Pearl Jam as an example, they will have band members come in and either do radio shows or talk in and out of songs or give little stories or whatever. It's a good thing. I like it. If you're into a particular musician and they give you your own channel, you can really have an opportunity to dig in. Bruce Springsteen's there's lots and lots of artists that have them. But I would think that it's a licensing thing, so it probably has to do with your record company, whoever owns the licensing to your music. But then I would imagine
how many subscribers.
Yeah, how many subscribers? They're getting a chunk of the revenue. How many people tune in? They all say it's limited time, right? It's on for a limited time, but Pearl Jam's been a limited time option for 6 years, and they play entire live concerts. They do the same thing with Fish and Grateful Dead, and a lot of these other Billy Joel, Bruce Springsteen. They'll play all these live concerts, that they have in their archive, which is great for a fan if you want to dig in, and then you hear stories from band members or the actual artists themselves. Is amazeballs, and I would think that depending on how many people tune in every year, you renegotiate that contract. You say, oh, well, there's 100,000 people a week tuning in, so $7 million. Now, I think that the same thing could happen with Odyssey. They could have their own commercial break channel live on that Odyssey app. But I'm not saying. I'm just saying. If anybody from Odyssey is listening, they're smart over there. They know what's doing.
Enough in the vault. To go back
yes, we could literally play episodes. Let me do a little mathing here. I'm just gonna before we take a break here. Let's see here: 650 times 1.2 812 divided by 24. You could literally play the commercial break for almost a month and a half and never repeat a word. Now, we probably repeat lots of words and stories, right? But you could play the commercial break for a month and a half and not repeat one episode.
Possibilities.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the glory that would be the Odyssey's commercial break channel, nonstop commercial break with additional commentary from the commercial break.
Yeah, we would comment on our own show.
Yes, we comment on our own show. Well, I remember this time I told this story about losing my virginity. Let me tell you the story about me losing my virginity. Me commenting on my own stories by telling the same story. It would be brilliant. Brilliant. Who doesn't want that?
Everyone.
I know. One of the things that I will always remember about Sirius, a lot of things, Sirius XM I do like, right?
Yeah.
One of the things I really thought was revolutionary with SiriusXM is the audio documentaries that they would put together. And one of the ones that really blew my mind was the Howard Stern, the Howard Stern, I don't know what they called it, retrospective or whatever they called it. And this went on for weeks. They literally took it year by year, and they would do an hour and a half, 2 hours of this documentary, talking, getting comments from his family and friends and people who were there at this time or that time or whatever turn in his career. It was quite revolutionary. It was made so well, created so well that you could not stop listening. And I remember we were working at Clear Channel at the time. So this is many years ago. I pulled into the parking lot and I pulled next to our market president at the time. And I was so engrossed in this audio documentary that I sat in the car for 30 minutes. And I noticed
And
that
you
the
missed
market.
the meeting?
Yeah, well, listen, the market president. I missed all the meetings. What are you talking about? I was like,
You did.
I was never there. The market president was also sitting in his car too.
Oh,
and
listening to the same
listening
thing.
to the same thing. But then it turns out we were not the only ones in the parking lot doing that. There was like an audio engineer and another salesperson. And like when it ended, we all kind of got out of the car at the same time. And we knew what was going on. It was so good. So wouldn't it be amazing to put together a retrospective of our almost 5 full years of the commercial break?
Yes.
The time we went broke, the time we stayed broke, the time we are broke,
The time we spent all the money that we
the time we spent all the money that we did make. On the serious.
We'll interview Astrid and Jeff.
Yes, Astrid,
They'll pipe
Jeff,
in.
my kids, Blue, Noemi.
Yeah.
Christina could be the disgruntled employee. Oh, it's brilliant. I love it. We should do it.
Why don't we do that next year for the Christmas instead of signing us up for fresh content?
If I put this challenge to Christina because this is all her. I'm not going to do any of it. I mean, I can help out a little bit, I guess. I put this challenge to Christina. If you want to do the story, the life of the commercial break, the story of the commercial break, a retrospective, go for it. And we can play it next holiday season.
2020 through 2024,
Yeah.
the lost years.
I know, the lost years, which is the entirety of the commercial break.
Yes.
Yeah. Howard Stern's was like 2 weeks long. It was like literally 28 hours or something like that. Ours would be 28 minutes. Oh.
I like it.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, give the listeners a break from just hearing the regular, hearing us. Here's a challenge, Christina. Make the life of the commercial break using none of our voice. Everybody else just talking about it. I don't think you could find people to fill 28 minutes talking about the commercial break. All right. A little housekeeping here. I know that Christina probably just said it to you during the commercial break, but we'll say it again. All episodes of the commercial break now available on YouTube and soon on Spotify video. So there are some peppered in there videos on Spotify if you're interested in watching that. But soon, Chrissy and I will have all of the videos on YouTube. So please do us a favor, youtube.com/the commercial break. We'd love it if you take a watch. I think watching us adds a layer of obnoxiousness to the show that you just can't afford to miss.
Can't afford to miss.
You can't afford to miss it. So anyway, go ahead and watch that.
It's our Christmas gift to everyone.
We have a brand new video editing company. I will give them a shout. We plash. And so far, so good, Chrissy. There you go. Well, we're only 2 episodes
I was
in.
going to say.
Yeah,
It's just been
like
2
we have a
days.
team leader, and I'm just wondering how long it's going to take him to be like, I'm out. I wonder how many team leaders we're going to go through in the next couple of months.
Yeah, probably a lot.
You know, that's why I give Christina credit. Like, you know, we all have our lovers and our haters out there in the audience, right? You've got, remarkably, except for Astrid. No one seems to dislike Astrid. But the rest of us, we take our fair share of shit and we get our fair share of compliments, mainly all the other people. But anyway, I talk the most, so I get it. But I will say, I give Christina this credit, and I think it's a lot of credit, is that Christina has come in here and now is the other person, besides myself and you, who have to sit through it, but the only other person that has to listen to every single minute of the commercial break. And she really does a great job, despite having to listen to us all the time. I mean, we must be in her head, you know.
Oh, having dreams, I'm sure.
So I take the kids to, I'll tell you this, and it'll lead back to Christina. So I take the kids to swimming class, which is an indoor facility here in Atlanta. And it's cold here in Atlanta, and this place is humid and hot.
Gotta
it's
be.
like a fucking sauna. It's miserable.
Chlorine smell.
Oh, I love the chlorine smell. Don't mind that. Did you know that every time I've gotten a blood test, I just, I was going back, like looking at my blood test results because of the whole calcium thing.
Yeah.
It was on an app, so I was just looking through it. Every year for like 9 years, my chlorine level's been very high. I think it's me trying to manage that pool outside. I think I'm just ingesting chlorine. No one seems to be worried about it, but no one seems to be worried about my calcium either, so maybe I should ask.
Maybe, you might want to ask.
Anyway, so we go to this place, and right next door is a McDonald's that I used to work at, right?
That's the one you used to work at?
Yes.
I've been to that swimming facility.
Oh, you have?
Because I went to go
The one in Cobb
drop
County?
off or pick up or do something. I dropped you off there one day.
Oh, yes,
like
you did.
over the summer or something?
Yes, you did. That's right.
Yeah,
yes.
and I remember that there was the McDonald's right next to it.
That McDonald's is the one that I used to work
Okay, I didn't know that was the famous one.
That's the famous McDonald's. I had sex on top of that McDonald's
You
one
were on
time.
the roof?
I was on the roof. I was down in the basement. I was making movies. I was smoking pot. The owner was calling my dad to tell him I was smoking pot. I mean, there was a basement where we used to smoke cigarettes. I mean, like, it was really my...
You don't think about a basement being at a McDonald's. I don't.
No, but that's where they kept all like the what they call dry stock, right? Like all the
sense.
paper cups and sauces and all the stuff that was packaged that you could keep. It was dry storage, essentially, is what it was. But they also had an office and a break room because the guy who owned that McDonald's also owned a number of other McDonald's.
That's usually the case.
Yes, which I imagine made him fabulously wealthy, especially when I used to work there. It was like the golden days of like the the value menu, right? And Supersize Me and all that other shit.
Yeah, and there weren't as many choices either.
No, not like there is today. And if you asked for something special, trust me, we hated you, right? I mean, now it's not uncommon to go, I'll take a cheeseburger, no onions, no pickle, do it your way. But that was the other guys. That was the Burger King, have it your way. We were McDonald's, and you just you got what you got. And if you asked for what's called a grill item, quote unquote, a grill item was when you asked for something special. Trust me, if you had a grill item in the 90s, everyone at that McDonald's knew who you were and hated you.
Was there a secret menu too when you worked there?
There was a secret menu that we would make for ourselves,
right?
But it was almost never asked for. I mean, people would come in and ask for ridiculous things, right? They would ask for, let's see, what was some of the stuff? Like at the time we had triple cheeseburgers. You can ask for that. I believe now they'll make one for you, but it's not something I think is on the menu. But we had triple cheeseburger menu, and it was just 3 patties, 3 pieces of cheese. This triple cheeseburger. You get it.
Right.
Let's explain
just
that
like
to you.
it sounds.
Right, just like it sounds. But we would, one of the guys that worked in the grill who had no teeth and no home. I mean, his name was Larry. There were 2 Larrys that worked there. And Larry literally had no teeth. And he was skinny as fuck. And something about him was fucking majestic to me. Like he was...
You've talked about him before.
He was so kind and so good at what he did and so competent at what he did and took pride in what he did. Even though he was a hot mess of a human being, I really admired his work ethic and the fact that he came in there every day. And now I imagine high or hungover, right? He probably didn't lose his teeth on accident. No. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So, but he did it well. And whatever the mechanics of him doing that well were, I wasn't aware of at the time. I am now. It was probably a little bit of pep in his step. But this guy was so fucking good at what he did, so kind. And as a 14-year-old kid from the burbs who's coming in for his first job, this guy didn't have to give me the time of day and probably could have a real shitty attitude about working with a bunch of children. But that was the gig for the owner of the restaurant, was to hire a lot of young people.
Child labor.
Child labor. That's it. It's cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
It's cheap. We work hard. We don't know the difference. Our parents think we're doing great, but really it's just cheap child labor.
Yeah.
So anyway, this guy would make certain menu items for us if we asked for it, like, triple cheeseburger with a Big Mac sauce, or, a special breakfast item. Believe this or not, bacon, egg McMuffin, pickles. Best thing you've ever tasted, swear to God.
Okay.
Those pickles with bacon and a muffin. If you put a piece cheese on it, that's
pickle.
Oh my God, Krissy, so delicious. So he would make these things. We never got asked. I know now it's like secret menu. It's like fun to go and try and see if you can ask for it and get them to make it. But this place is some of my formative memories. I got into my first fist fight there. I had sex. I got into my first
It's gotta be.
It's just like everything happened there. Now it's changed physically. They've renovated it and all this other stuff. And anyway, so we get out of the pool yesterday, and Astrid's like, I know we don't want to do this, but what about the kid? It's like late at night. It's near the kids' bedtimes because there's a holiday, And
Well, plus it's dark at 6.
it is dark at 4.
I know.
It's crazy. I don't like it.
I don't like
but
it
anyway.
either. It's completely like pitch black dark at 6 o'clock.
It's crazy.
I know. Jeff and we were talking about last night. We're like, I automatically just want to be like,
That's
night.
it. Yeah, I automatically want to like
When
tuck
2
in.
months ago, we were staying up late. I was eating dinner at 9.
Yes.
I was on European schedule.
Yes.
It was- yeah.
Yes, and that's
Now
my.
I've turned into my parents.
Yeah.
The early dinner.
I'm with you.
Early
yeah,
bird.
I feel like I'm retired.
I know.
I'm officially retired during the winter.
Oh no.
So she says, "Hey, so the kids don't fall asleep in the car. Get them a treat. Go get some food at the Mickey D's." And I'm like, God, every time we go to a Mickey D's, but everybody ends up sick, right? And I'm not saying that's because of Mickey D's. It's either a real coincidence. It's usually when we play in the playground, when they pick up some disease out there or some shit like that. So I say, okay, against our better judgment. And I also know that, like, sometimes Astrid doesn't want to cook food 24 hours a day, or I don't want to cook food, whatever. I cook food. Yeah.
No, yeah, you don't cook.
No, I microwave. That's what I do. But I can, but I will, and I have. So I go through the drive-through, like all these memories come flooding back. I'm telling the kids, I used to work here, yada, yada, yada. And then when we pull up to the window to pick up our food, we're like sitting there for a long time. And there's a young suburban girl working the drive-through, kind of clueless, right? And you can just tell this is like, she's a Bryan. Her dad made her go get a job, or she's working on her own volition or whatever to make a little bit of extra cash. Here she is, serving food out the window, just like I was back then. And then I hear that fucking fry machine. Beep, 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 beep. I'm like a Pavlovian dog. Something turns in my head, and I'm like, get those fries. You got to get those fries. The fries are going to burn. Get those fries, put them in there, and shake that salt while they're still hot. You better do that, right? Not too much salt, just a little bit of salt, not too much. I'm like, all of a sudden, I turn into like a McDonald's employee. I'm not saying that to her, but I'm thinking it to myself.
Yeah.
And one of my kids is like, what's that beeping noise? And I go, that's the fry machine. And if they don't pick those fries up, they're going to burn, and they're going to have to throw them away, and that's waste. And you don't want to waste. And I'm like, now I'm like working at McDonald's again. I swear to God, it was crazy how it happened. It came back because of that fry machine.
Yeah,
I would hear that beeping noise in my head at night.
You probably got a whiff
to
too of like the smell.
Oh yeah,
and that's definitely associated with memory.
Yes, I could smell those French fries in the pool place because they opened a vent to release some of that hot air. They have like this auto vent there, and that fry thing comes. And even one of my kids who was like waiting on his turn to go in the pool, he was like, "Daddy, I smell French fries. Yeah, I smell McDonald's." And I was like, "That's it. It's right next door." It must be terrible for those people in there. To have McDonald's right next door is real temptation
I know
if
it
you're
is.
so inclined.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm just like, now I'm Pavlovian dog hearing that beeping noise, beep, 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 beep. And now I'm remembering that for years, I could not get that sound out of my head. And if I heard it, I would be working the front counter on a Saturday morning in the 90s. McDonald's is everything. It's in suburbia. And everybody and their mother goes to McDonald's on a Saturday in suburbia to go get their value meal or whatever. Lines out the door, not even kidding. 4, 5, 6 cash registers in the front.
That.
Oh, it was insane.
Yeah.
And this would just go on for hours. It would start at 11 a.m. and it would go on for hours. And then there was a breakfast rush at 8 a.m., right? Whatever. And if you heard that noise, the management beat it into your head. If you didn't have a person specifically working the French fry area, it'd be like, get those fries, don't let them burn. That's waste. We can't waste. Waste is killing us. Food costs is going through the roof. And if Larry had to take the fries out of the basket, you were in trouble. He would give you a look. He'd be like, come on, guys. Come on. I'm not working fries and grills.
Exactly.
I'm already making 170 burgers a minute. Now you guys want me to do the French fries too? Let's go. Come on, guys. When that fry beeps, go. And it just and put another basket in. Well, are you born in a barn? Who's going to make the French fries for you? What do you think? There's a robot? They're going to throw another basket in there? Well, now there is. Yeah, it's crazy. But I just remember it was just like this instinct that I had when I was working there that I wanted to be the guy who made sure that it got taken care of. I was that guy. I was like a utility player.
Larry's approval.
I needed Larry's approval. I needed management approval. Everybody in some way, shape, or form needs approval.
Yes.
That's how we live as human beings. We want whether it's internally, externally, whatever. And I'll tell you what, I was a utility player, just like I was in every sport that I had. People would say, yeah, He's scrappy. That was like the word they used. I wasn't talented.
You were
I wasn't
scrappy.
good. I was scrappy. So I would
You could
help.
get it done.
I would be there. I would
Yeah.
help. You know, and
You were the worker bee.
I was the worker bee, and I never minded that. I always thought that was a compliment. I always felt like,
Yeah.
if I could outwork the other people, or at least if I could be there to help in some way, then I would be useful. And that was my version of showing other people love, and that was the way that I felt accepted. Right? It's okay. I'm part of the team, and I'm needed because I'm there when they need me. And the French fries will not burn. Damn it. So I say all this to say, so that would wrap it back into Christina.
Yes.
I wonder if Christina
Yeah.
hears
Yep.
us in her head at night. I wonder.
Yes. I think our voices will be in her head for the rest
We'll
of her
ask
life.
her in a couple of weeks when she gets here. Oh, yeah. I mean, I got to imagine
Right.
she's never going to get my
Yeah.
voice out of her head, or at least not for a long time, because God bless America. I mean, if you don't listen to your voice on a microphone all the time, the first time you hear it, it can be rather unnerving, right? It's like
it is, yeah.
It's
I still can't really listen to the shows.
yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, it is. It's hard. It's hard because your voice sounds different in your head than it does when you hear it back.
Yeah,
And-
you're your own worst critic.
Yeah, and it sounds worse. It
Yeah.
always
Yeah,
does. It just sounds worse. You always think you're so much more slick and sexy than you actually are. You're a stuttering, umming, like, you know. If I say the whole 9 yards one more time on this fucking podcast, I swear to God. Or if I say I swear to God, yes. The whole 9 yards, I swear to God, and like, I cannot stand when I say those things, and yet I say them 12 times an episode. 12, at least. At least. Do me a favor. Text me every time you hear me say one of those three things and just tell me what a fucking asshole I am so I can start learning. All right. Well, listen.
You can't think about it too much because then that freaks you out too.
It does. Yeah. You try.
you have to be natural.
Well, then you could start stumbling around
Right.
trying to find other words and then you sound
Right.
stupid. So I guess, I'll just take it like
Just
it is.
keep
The
doing
whole
it.
9 yards and all.
It's been 650 episodes.
It's been 650 episodes. The whole 9 yards. It's been all of it.
I swear to God.
Swear to God. All right, let's take a break. And we'll be back. Here, I'm going to Pavlovian dog you. Listen to Christina. Remind you to follow us on Instagram. Are you into Yellowstone?
I am.
Are you really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Is it good?
It is really good.
That Tyler Sheridan, he's on
Oh
quite
my
the
God.
kick. Huh?
He's got his hands in everything. And
Can't
the
argue
new-
success. Oh,
and the new
Landman.
Landman.
I can't wait to
Really
watch
good.
Landman. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll take a little Billy Bob Thornton with a side of
Oh, yeah.
Swiss cheese. I
With a
swear
side
to
of
God.
John Hamm.
Hey, yeah. Johnny Ham. John Hamm.
Demi Moore.
Demi Moore.
Yes.
Who we have on our list to watch that movie that you watched.
I watched it,
The
yep.
sauce? The juice?
No, the
substance?
The substance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm excited about The Landman. I think this should be a good show because Billy Bob Thornton, when applied correctly, it will cure all woes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you don't got that guy, then you just don't. You're not breathing. He is such a good fucking actor.
He really is.
And he plays
Fun to watch.
He plays a saucy bad guy, good guy, whatever, like nobody's business.
I know. It's
He's
so
like Bruce Willis, badass all the time, right? Bruce could go different directions, but Billy is just he just plays that one archetypal bad guy, good guy. I'm really introspective, super smart, whip. And at 78 years old, the guy is still wearing a bunch of bracelets like me and a floppy French hat and a beat up
And
leather
looks
jacket.
great.
Yeah, him and Johnny Depp go to the same fucking stylist. I swear to God they do.
in the south of France.
Have you ever seen the thing where Billy Bob Thornton is in Canada on the CBC, which is like the BBC, but in Canada? He's in the CBC, and he's with his band, the Billy Bob Thornton.
I forgot about
The
that.
Rattlers or whatever the fuck. Right?
Rattler.
I don't know. What does Billy Bob Thornton's band sound
I don't
like?
think.
Have you ever
What
heard
does it
of Billy-
sound like?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can imagine the sound.
Billy Bob Thornton.
Rock, maybe a little touch of westernness.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't really. 3,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, which is just about 1,000 more than us. So there we go. Let's see here.
Build a bridge to get across it. But at the end of the day, the river only flows one way.
Oh,
Okay, all right, that's a thing. It's with Government Mule, actually, that
Nice.
song, and it's the most popular of his songs on Spotify. Anyway, okay, so there you go. You get a little flavor for Billy Bob Thornton and the whatevers. So Billy Bob is in this studio doing an interview, and then I guess the band is going to play, and the presenter, the announcer, the host, is asking him a question about like this latest movie that he has. He says, well, what do you think about doing this movie or that movie? And he goes, did I come in here to talk about my fucking movie? And the guy is like, well, Billy, you're an actor, and I think it would be a disservice to the audience not to ask about. He goes, I told you not to talk about my fucking movie.
Oh, shit.
I told you not to talk about my fucking movie. I'm not an actor here today. I'm here with my band, and that's what I want to talk. I mean, he like went at the guy, and the guy was doing his best to like navigate. But Billy is like kind of a no bullshit. You know, he's not at a Diddy party. Let's put it that way.
No.
This guy's not trying to win favor, curry favor with anybody.
He's not at a Diddy party.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's not at a Diddy party. And weird tie-in with Billy Bob Thornton and us would be that Colonel Bruce Hampton was in the movie
Sling Blade.
Sling Blade. He did a wonderful turn, Colonel Bruce did, in Sling Blade, where Billy Bob won his Academy Award for playing the Sling Blade guy.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name.
The main guy.
Yeah, great movie. So can't wait to watch this. And then, he's
I think you're going to like it.
have you watched any of it? You've watched Landman?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah, there's 2 out. Maybe 3.
What channel is it on?
Paramount.
FX? Paramount?
Paramount
Oh,
Plus.
shit, I don't have Paramount Plus. I'll find a way to watch it.
I'll add you.
Okay. Yeah, please. I want to watch it. I can't wait to watch it. So Sheridan's on a tear right now.
Yeah.
And this Yellowstone has been a little bit, there's been some hiccups in the Yellowstone. They've done like multiple branch outs of Yellowstone with some varying degrees of success, I think. But the original Yellowstone, the one that's got Kevin Costner in it, has really taken hold of the entire country. Everyone's talking about Yellowstone. It's been talking about it for a long time. We've talked about it a few times here on the show. Never seen an episode. Don't really know what it's all about. But okay, it's a show that everybody likes and everybody seems to think is great. That's fantastic. But I think it's just gotten a little too self-important. If I'm only going by the trailers, teasers, and commercials that they put on, it's got a little bit self-important. And let me explain why. The other day I'm watching a television show, on comes the commercial, and it's for Yellowstone's brand new season, right?
Right.
And I guess this is the last season? Is this?
Yeah, because, it's the second part of the last season.
Okay.
And I don't know that it was going to be the last season, but they made it the last season
Because Kevin Costner
left.
wouldn't, for whatever reason. There was like creative differences.
Well,
Probably
he
had
wanted
something
to go
do with money.
he wanted to go do his own Western thing, and he did. He came out with
And
like
he
that.
did, and it flopped.
yeah.
And then it got picked up by Amazon, and it became a fucking hit.
Okay. I
Don't
haven't delved into it yet.
Bet against Costner
No.
is the word.
Yeah.
Dances with Wolves, which I know people are going to call, they're going to text me and say, it's the most fucking obnoxiously boring movie ever. No, it's not. It is brilliant and beautiful and so well done.
It really
is.
is.
And I think, while that may not be exactly historically accurate, I don't know what was going on at that time, and neither do you. I think it's done with a bit of sensitivity, at least from a white man's perspective, a bit of sensitivity around, what may have been happening out in the West back then. It is a beautiful fucking movie, and
really
the score
is.
is beautiful. I remember seeing that in the theater with my mom.
It was a big deal when it came out.
It's such a big deal. And he fought tooth and nail to get that movie made when everyone said, you're fucking crazy. A 3.5 hour movie about the Wild West where nothing actually happens except for this guy just like makes friends with Indians. Are you kidding me? It is so fucking good. And Bodyguard, same thing. He fought, I think that he fought to have Whitney Houston be in that role or something along those lines. I don't know, but he has
Great movie.
Yeah. Waterworld, okay, that was a dump of a movie. All right, we can all agree that Waterworld was not a movie anybody wanted to see. It's not a movie. I see it on, occasionally I see it then put on like TNT or something, and I'm like, how is this movie even rerunning? Like, it should just be buried forever. That movie is terrible. But Kevin Costner has repeatedly had success after success after success by fighting for his creative vision. Now, whether or not you agree with that creative vision or think that he's always been, I don't know, had a daft touch with certain things, whatever. Okay, we can all disagree about creativity, but at the end of the day, he is a monster success maker. That is for sure. He's like that fucking James Cameron guy who decides he's going to build a space rocket to the bottom of the ocean, and everyone says you're a fucking moron, and then he makes $1 billion because he, recreates the Titanic. Like the guy is just anyway. So, but I will have to say that the hype is getting a little bit ridiculous because here is the commercial, and I shit you not, I wrote it down. This is what it had. Okay, ready? People, Yellowstone people talking, plot points, and
nothing can prepare you for what comes next.
Nothing can prepare me for what comes next.
Jeff was telling me the other night, he was like, it's explosive. The next one's going to be explosive.
Explosive. Oh, Jeff saw it. Okay, Jeff.
I think he's on the same trailer or
Jeff
something.
got bought in. It's like swooning music at a religious ceremony. Jeff got bought in. Damn it, Jeff.
He was laughing about it too.
What comes next? It's explosive, says Jeff from Info.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I mean, I've seen commercials. There were movie trailers in the 80s that did a better job of hyping up. That is the most crazy shit I've ever heard. And I know that people are eating it. They're like, what comes next?
I can't wait. I know.
Yeah, they're jumping off buildings. Nothing can prepare me. Nothing can prepare you. There's war going on out there. Democracy sliding away. Elon Musk is losing his mind. The whole world is going fucking bad shit, and nothing can prepare us for what comes next. Really? Honestly?
It was pretty explosive.
Okay.
I did see it.
Listen, you can't prepare for explosive diarrhea. You can certainly prepare for a television show, no matter what happens. It's okay.
You'll be prepared.
Yes, you'll be prepared. It's not coming out of the TV. You're not going over to Oklahoma and fall off an oil well or whatever the fuck is going on in Yellowstone. It's not going to happen. Everything's okay. You can prepare yourself. Make some popcorn. Sit the fuck down. Get a blanket. Watch the show. Have some fun. Let's stop being so goddamn dramatic about everything. What comes next? Even my kids were like, what's that? And I'm like, don't, stop. You're buying into it. It's like a soap opera, I swear to God.
It is, but meanwhile, you're going to watch it and be totally addicted.
Well, listen, that is a different story altogether. Okay, maybe I will be addicted.
And then you're not going to be prepared for what happens.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, if
you think you're prepared,
I think I'm prepared. You think
you're prepared, but are you really? Check yourself, because nothing can prepare you for what comes next.
Characters die, explosions happen, the whole world goes crazy.
All of it.
Oh my God. But did Kevin Costner die? I mean, I don't know. I don't want to do spoiler. Oh, okay, there you go. Spoiler alert.
Well, I think it's widely known.
Oh, I mean, of course.
Because he
he's
left
out
the
of the
show.
Yeah, they gotta write him out somehow.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate fuck you to it. You know what I'm saying to a character? It's like when they just murder you off. Hey, so Bob, thanks for your 10-year run on Friends, but you're dead.
I know. I was just reading an article too about the whole thing with that Taylor Sheridan kind of did do a little fuck you to him in the way in which he dies. So
really?
You'll have to watch to see, but nothing can prepare you for it.
What, does
really.
he get dildoed to death? He gets pegged to death by his wife or something? What's going on? What's the name of his character in the show?
John Dutton.
John Dutton dies listening to the commercial break retrospective on Odyssey app.
That really would be a fuck you.
Oh, that would. Is Yellowstone set in the current times?
Yes.
Okay, but
Montana.
Montana. Okay, beautiful country out there.
Yeah.
Dave Letterman owns like half of Montana, I think. Between Dave Letterman and Ted Turner. Yeah.
Which the other thing, there's a Ted Turner retrospective on.
Oh, I saw that too.
CNN,
Yes.
8 Max, whatever it is, and it's amazing. Well, you should watch this. Jeff and I were blown away. We were like,
"Oh,
holy shit!" I forgot that he did like all.
He did all of it.
That stuff.
All
I
of
mean,
it. The Braves,
so
Ted Turner,
much stuff.
Yeah, Turner.
Starting cable channels, pioneer there,
He was
pioneer here, this, that, the other, doing like meeting with Fidel Castro,
Yes.
like doing all of this stuff.
Yes, he was insanely, he was a Wild West landman. He went out there and he claimed his stake, and he did it through cable television and the Braves. And he did it all from here in Atlanta, CNN. He had all of those ideas, and he fought to get it done.
Yeah.
So again, we can all argue about Ted Turner's, picadillos, but at the end of the day, the reason why you have fucking Netflix streaming in your home right now is Ted Turner.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, he was such a pioneer.
He demanded that it get to every front door, and he figured out a way to make it happen and get it subsidized. I mean, he just did so many things. The guy was brilliant. He was a navigator. He was one of the people who just pulls the strings in this world, and we all know who they are, and you can do it for good and you can do it for bad. You do have to say something about Ted Turner. He built Atlanta, number one. There's no Olympics, there's no CNN, there's no industry.
Yeah, that was the other thing. He did the games.
He did the games.
What was the name of the
Turner?
game?
The World.
The
World something or
the Goodwill
other.
Games.
Goodwill Games.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah,
the Goodwill Games. Yeah, which was a thing for a while. It wasn't the Olympics, but it was something. It was like art.
Well, he wanted to build goodwill,
Yeah.
peace throughout the world, and I mean, you got to watch it. I highly recommend it.
And
It's very fascinating.
Ted Turner says that he could ride a horse from Canada to Mexico without ever leaving his land. That's what he says. And I tend to believe it because he started gobbling up huge swaths of land when he started making money.
Yeah.
And that's what he claims. Did you know that you can I don't know, if you want to bring your cattle from one pasture to the other, you got to rent, you got
the Ted Turner Trail.
The Ted Turner Trail, you got to pay the guy to bring your cows over to the next pasture. It's insane.
Oh yeah, you'll learn about that on Yellowstone.
Oh, I can't wait to get invited to Dave
You're gonna
Letterman's
love
house. What? Dave Letterman. Let's talk about Dave for a second, because Dave's next door to Ted. I can't wait to get invited to Dave Letterman's house.
Oh, yeah, it's
that's
gonna
my
happen.
dream. I don't care if I'm rich and famous. Well, I kind of care if I'm rich, not so much famous. But what I would like is if we're gonna do one thing. I was thinking about this. If I'm gonna do one thing retrospective wise, right, where they go, podcast pioneers and mediocre comedy.
CNN up next on CNN.
Ingenues of the podcast universe.
The Wild
Bryan
West.
and Krissy, the Wild West of the. It really was for a while there. It still is. But if they're going to do one thing, if you could pick it 60 Minutes, CNN retrospective, Fox News, Brett Baer interview. I don't know, Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan for 4 hours. If you could do one thing, I'd want to do that Dave Letterman Netflix shit that he does.
I like
I think
that
that's
show.
really cool.
I like that show.
My next guest needs no introduction, I think is
I
what
think
it's
that's
called.
the name of it too, yeah.
So he did that one with Miley Cyrus. We talked about this. That was really cool. It was really
all
cool.
of them are great.
Yeah, and I think some people get invited to Dave's house. And Dave says, he's like, you come out to my house, I invite people, but when they get there, they're like, hey, you got tennis? And he's like, tennis? I don't have tennis. Do you have a pool? Not really. What can we do? I don't know. Go look at the pasture, I guess. That must be what Dave likes. Dave, Johnny Carson, and a lot of these guys who did this, I don't know, late night does something weird to you. It's like you never want to talk to anybody ever again after you get done. They have to have a retrospective on Johnny Carson also, which I would like to watch too. Now, he was like a real split personality. Apparently, he was a bad alcoholic, and when he got alky, when he started drinking, he would get really nasty to his wives, and
Probably why I had so many.
yeah, probably why he had so many. And then he just kind of walked off into the sunset when Johnny Carson, I think, did he die of Parkinson's or something like that? I feel like I want to say, or emphysema. Emphysema, that's what it was. Parkinson's, emphysema. It's not the same thing.
No.
He died of emphysema because I think he was a pretty big smoker, like everybody was back in those days.
Right.
But Johnny Carson handed it off to Jay Leno and then just walked off into the sunset, never to be heard from again. It was really strange. And so I'm glad that Dave is still in touch with us in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But, I would like to go to Dave's house and just spend a weekend with Dave. So, Dave, if you're listening, I know I'm not ever going to be on your radar. But if for some reason this gets back to you, somebody you know is listening to the show and you can pass this along to Dave, I would kindly take an invite to your house. I'll bring my own toilet paper, just so you don't have to use any. I'll bring my own food, and I won't bring my children or my dog. So, as a matter of fact, if you just want to invite me, I'll be happy to come over. I'll make your bed for you, Dave. That's what I'll do. I'll make your bed for you. If you invite me to your house for the weekend, your bed will be made both days I stay there. How's that, Krissy?
Yeah, maybe you could get a job at his house some way.
Yeah, you wonder if there are people. There must be people that work there,
of
right?
course.
You don't think Dave's making his own bed,
No,
do you?
of course. You have staff.
I don't know. What staff? Yeah, like a chef and security. You got to have security,
House,
even when you live out there.
gardens,
Yeah,
all that.
Gardens. He's probably growing wheat out front or something. I don't know. I just imagine Dave to be the kind of guy who's like, I don't want flowers. I want wheat. Give me wheat.
Wheat? I thought you said weed.
No, no. But I in the Miley Cyrus interview, if I'm not mistaken, he talks about smoking weed with Miley. Or no, maybe it's Miley talking about smoking with her mom. Whatever. Anyway, I don't want to get it wrong because I love Dave and I don't want to ever piss him off.
No.
But he's not without controversy either. I think the point is we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
That's the moral of the story.
We're human.
Sometimes
for
I
a
didn't,
little while longer.
For a little while longer. Sometimes I didn't get to the fry machine on time. Johnny Carson wasn't a perfect person. Kevin Costner's always not been historically sensitive. And Dave Letterman shouldn't have interns. I guess that's the moral of the story. There you go. He doesn't make his own bed. All right. Okay. All episodes from here on forth, it shall be known on YouTube.com/The Commercial Break. Don't go to no man's video land. Come here. So youtube.com/The Commercial Break, or you can go to tcbpodcast.com. All the audio, all the video, right there from one location. You can also get your free TCB bumper sticker while supplies last. While supplies last.
We're running low.
On a few of them, yes. We have like all the stickers, and sometimes people ask for old ones.
I gave you my extras, right?
You did give me the extras from Memfo, which is one we didn't give away actually. So if you want a Memfo TCB sticker, we have them available. Write and ask kindly, and maybe Astrid or whoever does it will send one to you. But be nice about it. Don't be like, I want 7 stickers, sign one for my husband, do 2 of this, can you kiss me? It's like some people get a little silly about the requests, and it's like, honestly, pay for can you overnight it? Sure, why not? If you want a Memfo sticker, let us know, and maybe we'll send one off to you.
It was the one we gave away at Memfo.
Yeah,
we gave a guitar.
We gave
guitar pick.
Yes, we gave a lot of them away. I can almost guarantee none of them sit anywhere on anybody's shelf, on their refrigerator. Nada. I promise you.
You never know.
Only one person at Memfo knew who the Commercial Break was, and that was Jeff. That's it. TCB Podcast on TikTok, The Commercial Break, at The Commercial Break on Instagram, TCB Podcast on TikTok, 212-433-3TCB, 212-433-3822. Questions, comments, concerns, content ideas, write us. We'd love to talk to you. Okay, Krissy, I guess that's all I can do for right now.
I think so.
I'll tell you that I love you.
And I love you.
Best to you.
Best to you.
Best to you out there in the podcast universe. Until next time, Krissy and I do say, we will say, and we must say,
Goodbye.